What's good, Cornertalks family? It's your boy Cheese. Today's episode 7 of the podcast. Um, yeah, it's been an interesting week. My bad I'm not posting yet. Yesterday, I had some scheduling issue with my co-host, but we're going to figure that out. It might come back next week, but who knows? And yeah, so NBA. As you've seen, basic stuff in the NBA. NFL, we're going to talk a lot about that. NBA, not so much. We'll talk about a little stuff here and there. First up, let's talk about Zion. Zion had that one game absent from, not showing up on time. It is what it is. We don't know what happened. People think it's food that he had to go get. That's why he's running late, and that's why he ended up getting suspended. Who knows? Who knows? But since being back, he's been doing pretty good. Last 2 or 3 games, he put in really good numbers. The Pelicans won yesterday, which is a good sign. But they need Brandon Ingram back. They need CJ McCollum back. They just gotta get healthy. If they get a very healthy team, they can definitely compete in the playoff. For sure. They're a really good team. But we just have to wait and see. Now, Jimmy Butler, I think he comes back. That's one thing we gotta talk about, Jimmy Butler, because we're not really sure what's going on. I think he comes back, was it tonight? I think either tonight or the next game. I'm not really 100% sure. I know 7 games is maybe up already. So, Pat Riley and Jimmy Butler sat down with one another. Jimmy Butler's like, hey, I don't want to be here. Trade me. So Pat Riley's going to see what he can do, which we don't know. But Jimmy Butler said, if you cannot trade me, I'll stay here until the off season. I'm just not going to sign. So if I was Pat Riley, I would try and trade him, get some draft picks, which I'm not sure if we're going to get a good amount. But if I was him, I'd rather get draft picks and a good amount of players than nothing, You got the Warriors, which I don't know if they're really into it still. Suns, they're into it, but the only player, like I said in the last video, was Bradley Beal. More reasonable player you can get for Jimmy Butler. The Mavs, maybe, but I don't feel like they want to get rid of everyone. And who can they really give up that's really big enough for the contract and also the player? They want to get rid of PJ Washington and everyone else. We don't know. But, yeah, I just don't know where he would go. Milwaukee doesn't want to go. And then you got, whatchamacallit. I think Milwaukee didn't want to go, and I think somewhere else. They were both interested in Jimmy Butler, but Jimmy Butler's like, I am not going there. I do not want to go there. I feel like him in Milwaukee would be really good. Him, Dame, and Giannis. But that's really not going to happen. That's really not going to happen at all. Let's look up. Let's look up what other stuff happened. Cavs on a roll. I don't know how the Cavs are doing that. But I give props. That's why I told everyone you should have kept the Cavs coach in Brooklyn. But they didn't want to listen. They want to get rid of him because of KD and Kyrie. That's very silly for Brooklyn, bro. You could have been playoff contention the past couple of seasons already. But whatever, not my problem. I'm a Knicks fan. I don't care. But but yeah, a lot of players are doing well. It's now a couple of players are trying to get traded. Like Valanciunas, if I said it right, for the Washington Wizards center. Might want to get traded either to the Knicks or to, what's the other team? I'm trying to look up. The other team would be, I have no idea. Yeah, I have no idea. I gotta look it up. But a couple of teams are interested in Valanciunas. I can say his name right. So we'll see. There's really nothing else really going on in the NBA. Players are putting up double, triple points. Like the Joker, he might win MVP again. So this is what the ranking is right now for MVP. Joker first, second Shy, third Cat. Really good. Really good. But the Joker had, right here, most points per game, rebounds per game, and assists per game since Kareem. So, averaged the most of those three categories since him. He also the first center since Kareem to reach 5,000 career assists. Right now, he is third in points per game, third in rebounds per game, and second in assists per game, fourth in steals per game, wow, and first in 3-point percentage, and fourth in MVP award coming? Who knows? I think so. I think if he wasn't in the race, Shy would be MVP for sure, and then Cap, and I think it would kind of be a good head-to-head battle, with Joker gonna win it. He's too good. Too good a player. Too good of a player. Oh, we also need to tell you about Steph Curry. He has surpassed Allen Iverson for 28th all-time in scoring. Congrats to Steph. Now, people are going to say, is Steph better than AI? Yeah. You gotta. Trust me, I liked AI when I was younger. I only remember watching a little bit here and there. I wasn't that into basketball when I was younger, but I did watch a couple of 76ers games, and I liked how AI just was something else. But Steph is, I bet he's never retired yet. Steph is better than AI, 100%. Who else? The Detroit Pistons has surprised everyone this season. Like I said, like a week or two ago, I said Detroit shocked a lot of everyone, record this season of how they projected where they're going to be at. They are 10-2 over their last 12, 7-1 in 2025, over 500 in January for the first time in 7 years. 7 years. So that was back in... I'm not good at math, bro. 2017, 2016, something like that. Wow. I think that's when the Pistons had, I think, Blake Griffin, Andre Drummond, if I'm right. Like, they had Reggie Jackson, some decent players. I think that was the time. I might be wrong. Let me know. But I think that's the time. But it's just interesting how Detroit, I'm proud. I mean, I think that's the thing. Even in the beginning of the season, the coach was like, yo, we're not wearing hoodies during warm-ups. You're not trying to act like little kids. You're supposed to be professionals. And the first couple of games, not so good. I think the first month wasn't so good. Ended up turning around. And look at them now. And I think that's a really good move to bring that coach in. I don't think a lot of the coaches that Detroit brought in didn't have that. Come on, guys. It was nice. It's really nice that they brought him in. And I think, he did a really good job now. But we're not going to say he should be there forever. We don't know. Things happen. Players don't live up to what they should be. But we'll see. If Detroit can go into the playoffs, he might stay a little longer. He might. And then if this happens again and again, he might be their franchise coach if he stays there longer than every other coach that they had before. Pretty much. Because every coach that Detroit brought in, 1 year lasted. Maybe 2. I don't even think they lasted 3 years. I'm not sure. But he's their guy right now. And Cade playing a high level. Everyone's doing good on that team. I'm proud of them, man. They're young. They're hungry. They want to, win some games. And then we're going to talk about, 2 more things. We're going to talk about 2 more things. One is the Suns. So they benched their center. I can't pronounce his name. Don't ask me. They benched their center because I think it was something with him and the other players don't like each other. He unfollowed KD and Devin Booker on social media. The coach didn't bench him. He literally took him off on the roster. So he hasn't even played a game, I don't think, for like 2 or 3 games already. So we don't know what's the issue, what's the cause of it. I think he doesn't get that this is your role. You're a center. You're not a point guard. You're not the Joker. You're literally a straight up center, bro. And KD and Booker and Beal, everyone else was like fed up. So I think that's why the coach just took him off the roster, benched him pretty much, and was like, "You're not gonna play until you get traded, or you can turn your attitude around." But who knows? I have no idea. I really have no idea. We just gotta wait and see. Now, the one I really want to talk about is the Ball family. Everyone always criticizes LeVar Ball raising their kids, and I'm gonna admit I was one of them. Not to the extent of like everyone else, but I have to say though, in the beginning, LeVar Ball was kind of pissing me off. Like, he was doing too much. And he was hyping his son up like they're gonna be the next MJ, and I'm like, chill. Like, have some high praise, but not too much. And then, LaMelo was an all-star, putting up good numbers in Charlotte. You got Lonzo coming back, doing good for a guy who hasn't been in the league for 3 years, 2 years, something like that. But he is, get his minutes up, doing some good things for the Bulls. And then you got Leangelo Ball. That music reminds you of the early 2000s, I'm not going to lie. It reminds me of the early 2000s. And I have to say, it's not bad. Like, it's a little too hyped up, but it's not that bad. It really isn't. And I just want to listen to it over and over again. But I have to say, LeVar Ball doing a good job raising their kids, man. Doing a good job. Hats to you, even though I'm wearing a beanie, but hats to you. But I'm proud of him, man. We need more father figures out there who gonna raise their kid right, and it's hard, especially nowadays. There's a lot of stuff going on in the world. You can't really, can't really control everything your kid does, but you have to do the best that you can as a parent, and also as a kid, you just gotta do the best as you can to do the right thing. And that's some adult stuff I just talked right there. But man. What else? NBA, nothing else really. A bunch of games, all-star voting. I'm not going to go over that. We're not there yet until we get to the finish line. Then we'll talk about the lineups and who should have been, who should have not been in the all-star game. So yeah, let's talk about nothing for baseball right now. Nothing really. Minor signing, minor trade. Nothing huge. Oh, actually, spring training is going to be coming right around the corner. I think in February 9th, the Cubs are going. February, I think 11th or 12th, like a bunch of teams are going. And then I think 12th and 13th, or maybe 14th, is like a few teams here and there. So spring training is going to be going on really soon. I think the pitchers and catchers first. My apologies. So those are the dates that they show up. I'm not sure about the other players. Not sure. I gotta double check that. But yeah, baseball is going to be coming here pretty soon. Feel like it's been a month, but it's been a few months. Really weird. But 33 days away from opening day. So a little hyped about that. I think I'm right on that. I haven't watched baseball in a couple of months, so I'm like trying to remember when does it start. But I'm excited for my Mets. I'm gonna go opening day, first time since 2010 or something, 11, maybe even 12, something like that. It's been a while, but it's gonna be feeling weird on opening day again for the Mets. But yeah, so now let's talk about the NFL. So this is what we actually got to talk about. Let's deep dive into this, and then we'll finish up with some lifestyle stuff that's going on about life and, something a little different for the channel I want to add towards the end. So let's talk about the NFL first. So playoffs. Oh, the playoffs was something else, man. It was really, really something else. We got a few teams. So from Saturday to Monday, there were a couple of teams that was playing. The Chargers versus Texans. I didn't really watch that. I totally forgot they were playing on Saturday. On Saturday. I thought it was on Friday. But on Saturday. And Texans beat the Chargers 32-12. I did not watch the game, so I can't give you my full thought on it. But what I've heard and what I did some of my research on is that the Texans defense showed up. Their offense did really good. Rex Ryan even said, I think the Chargers are going to have an easy week. It's a bye week for them, for the Texans. And then Joe Mixon takes out a cigar and was like, we're smoking that Rex Ryan pack. And I was like, yo, wow. So Rex Ryan got a kick out of it. He laughed about it. He's like, hey, hats off to you guys. You guys really did well. So now, for the Chargers, I'm not sure who was to blame for it. I heard it sounds like it's going to be the quarterback more, not really the coach, but the quarterback and the defense. Quarterback defense are the problem for it. I might be wrong. Let me know. But, yeah. Now, the Steelers versus Ravens, this was supposed to be a good matchup, head-to-head, and people kept thinking that the Steelers were somewhat going to win, but no. I honestly thought that the Ravens were going to win, and they did. By the way, I just forgot about this. Last week, I said the Texans were going to win, and they did, which, wow. But the Ravens really did well on defense. Really, really did well on defense. On offense, a whole other level. They're running the ball. Derrick Henry was like over 100 and something yards on the ground, running the ball like it was nothing against the Steelers defense. And Lamar Jackson was just doing what Lamar Jackson does. It's really, really good what he's doing. Is he MVP candidate? I don't know. I think he's up there with Josh Allen, but I think Josh Allen kind of has the edge. But, man, that's Lamar Jackson. I think, you're doing your thing, my guy. 165 yards for Lamar Jackson. 175 yards with Lamar Jackson. 2 touchdowns. 16 for 21. Wow, really good. And then Derrick Henry had 186 yards, 7.2 average, 26 carries, and 2 touchdowns. Wow, he made it look easy. Ooh. But let's talk about the Steelers. This is what we gotta talk about with that team is that their defense did horrible. Like they're supposed to stop the run, but they didn't do it. They were letting Derrick Henry run over them easily. Now who's to blame? Russell, the coach, defense. Everyone was saying the coach. Come on, it's not the coach. It's the players and the coordinators. Like Mike Tomlin brought the Steelers to the playoffs every single year. Yes, he got blown out like 5 straight, but what other coach is going to help the Steelers get into the playoffs? I highly doubt you get another coach who can do that. For 5 years straight, maybe even longer. No, it's not Mike Tomlin's fault. I'll say a little bit because you've got to take some accountability, but it's not really entirely his fault. It's the coordinators and it's the defense. And a little bit of, Russell Wilson did pretty good. 20 completion of 29 attempts, 270 yards, 2 touchdowns. So running wise, I don't know why they didn't run the ball. It was weird because I'm like, you only give Najee Harris 6 carries, 17 yards, average 2.8. And then you got your other running back for 2 carries, 6 yards, and 3.0 average. So why didn't you run the ball when you had the chance to run it? And they were pretty good when it comes to the run during the regular season. So why didn't they run it? They kept throwing it all the time. So it didn't make any sense. I know the Ravens were stopping them a lot on the run, but you gotta mix and match. You can't keep doing the same thing. So I think from what I saw and what I think from other people saw too, it's the coordinator's fault. And I think it's the coordinator's fault entirely, and then the defense kind of didn't do their job right. That's what I think. Now, let's talk about the other games. We had a good amount of games. I was shocked. Then we had the Broncos versus Bills. This one I'm not going to talk a whole lot. Well, I guess. As a Jets fan, I'm not happy with the fact that the Broncos didn't win because I wanted them to win over the Bills. But I said last week the Bills were going to win because they were just too good of a team. But in my heart, I wanted the Broncos. But Josh Allen did really good. But we got to talk about Cook. Not Dalvin Cook, his brother, Cook. He went off. He had 23 carries, 120 yards, 5.2 average, and 1 touchdown. They were just letting him run all over the Broncos defense. He was just running. I was like, how? Good blocking, though, by the Bills. Good blocking. But he did really good. Josh Allen, again, MVP type of stats. He had 20 completions on 26 attempts, 272 yards, 2 touchdowns. Did really good. Did really, really good. By the way, I'm shocked that Amari Cooper didn't really get the ball. He got 2 receptions, 8 yards. What? Why you trade for him if you're not going to use him? But whatever, guys won 31-7 for the Broncos. Now, let's talk about the Broncos. When I saw this game, I was kind of fed up towards the fourth quarter, so I stopped and I took a nap. It was boring, bro. But I saw the quarterback trying, like he was trying. 13 completion, 22 attempts, 144 yards, 1 touchdown. Running back, they could have ran the ball a little bit more. I don't know. Wasn't feeling the running game wasn't feeling like working that well. Could have done different sets. Who's to blame for this game? Defense, quarterback, or coaches? I would say the quarterback. He's the rookie, bro. He did really good for his first playoff game. I think it's Sean Payton and the coaching staff. Defense, definitely too. So I would say mixture of both, just like with the Steelers. Mixture of both. I think defense is a little bit more because they just let them run over them like it was nothing. Yeah, not a good look. Not a good look for the Broncos. But hey, man, they improve well compared to last season. Now let's talk about the Packers versus Eagles. Saw this game. It was a pretty good game, I would say. It's not that bad. In the beginning, it was kind of boring because the Eagles were up, I think, like 10-0. And, the Packers missed a field goal. Then they were doing good on defense. I was saying that. They were holding their own the first half. And then they just ended up kind of slipping away a little bit. But the Eagles won 22-10. The Eagles need to try and fix the offense a little bit better. Because they're going to be versing another team coming up. And you don't want to do this when you go up against the other team. But Jalen Hurts did really good. Like always, 13 completion, 21 attempts, 131 yards, 2 touchdowns. Barkley ran over the Packers. Just like how Derrick Henry ran over the Steelers, and also Cook ran over the Broncos. Everyone just was running over the other team this whole weekend. It was kind of interesting. Barkley got 25 carries, 119 yards, and average 4.8. Shocking he didn't even get a touchdown. And then, Eagles just need to fix their, whatchamacallit. They need to fix their play calling a little bit better. Now, Packers, who is the issue for the Packers' mistakes on losing the game? Defense, coaching, or quarterback? What I think it really is I wouldn't say entirely defense. I would say a little bit of them, but not entirely because they did pretty good the first half. Second half, a little bit of mistakes, but they were doing somewhat good, I would say their offense, the whole offense, quarterback, everyone were doing bad. Josh Jacobs didn't really get the ball. I mean, he did 18 carries, only had 81 yards and 4.5 average and 1 touchdown. So I think they could have ran the ball a little bit more with Jacobs, maybe a little better. But I think play calling and the offense wasn't doing their job. Offense, I think mainly too many mistakes. Yeah, it wasn't a good look for the Packers, but they made the playoffs, bro. They made it compared to other teams that should have been in the playoffs. Now, the Washington Commanders versus Tampa Bay Bucks. Really good game. I watched it. I was excited for this one. I think this is the most exciting one to watch this past weekend. Washington won 23-20 from a game-winning field goal. And who sold the game for the Bucks? Baker Mayfield. Everyone's hyping him up, saying, oh, he's going to beat them, yada, yada. I projected the Commanders to win versus the Bucks. I told you, and they did. The defense came up. The defense kind of slacked a little bit, but they showed up towards the end. They got Baker to fumble. He recovered it. They were able to get to where they had to be to get the game tied up. And then all of a sudden, Tampa Bay just fumbled on defense. And then field goal came and they won the game. This is the first time the Commanders won a playoff game since, 2005. 2005. How old was I? I was 28. I think I was like 8. I was between the ages of like 7 and 9 years old. No, wait, my bad. I was between the ages of like maybe 7 and 9 years old. I was 9 or 8 years old. So that was the last time the Commanders won a playoff game when I was 8 to 9 years old. That's crazy. And they've been at the playoffs, yeah, but they lost like 5 straight, I think it was. And they ended up winning. So, wow. At least they made the playoffs, but they ended up winning, which is awesome. And now they move on. I'm going to be talking about which teams are going to verse who the next round after I go over each game, so don't worry about that. And then we got the last game of the week, the Vikings versus Rams. This one, I was shocked. I chose the Vikings to win over the Rams automatically, but I should have thought. Every year the Vikings go to the playoffs, or every time they get close to the postseason, they tend to choke. And that's what they did. The last game of the season, lost. This, lost. They lost versus the Rams 27-9. 27-9. And I think the reason why the Rams won this is that the whole thing in LA, we'll talk more about it after we talk about football. But the whole thing with LA I think that got them very motivated. Got them, hey, they're doubting us. We're going through a lot right now, but we want to do this for the city of LA. You know, we're the underdog. Let's do this. And they just did well. I was shocked. Would that effect of the fire, if that didn't happen, would that kind of not make the Rams win? Who knows? But I think that whole thing that happened in LA really motivated them to win this game. And I'm proud of them, man. They gotta do it for LA, man. People got, you know, they're going through a rough patch right now in LA, and yeah, they had to do it for them. We'll talk more about it, but let's finish this up with football first. But yeah, the Matthew Stafford, they're really good. He's aging like fine wine. Pause. 19 completions on 27 attempts, 209 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Good. Running back, Williams, 16 carries, 76 yards, 4.8 average. And then, I'm shockingly, Cooper Kupp only had 1 reception for 29 yards. Wow. Higbee did well. Puka did good. And then their defense locked up. I don't know how their defense did this. Like, passing yards, okay. Rushing yards, alright. But for some reason, like, you know, it looked good on stats of how their passing yards and rushing yards compared to the Rams. But, as you know, they just were doing something good. I don't know how. Locking down Justin Jefferson, Addison, Jones, not letting Sam Darnold do his thing. Wow, very impressive. This could be a big thing for the Vikings. Are they going to move on from Sam Darnold? They seem like they're very, grateful that he joined the organization to help that team get to this level. Only have 2 to 3 losses. But are they going to keep him? That's a little tricky because you have a young rookie quarterback behind him that hasn't played yet, and he's really, really good. But Sam Darnold seems like he's so comfortable in Minnesota. He's thriving really good. And they think that might be his franchise player years to come. I mean, not long time, but, long. And would I not sign Darnold, or would I? I think I would sign him to an extension, like 3 or 4 year extension. Have the rookie quarterback learn from Sam Darnold, and then start to as he gets older, put him in here and there, because you don't know, some of these quarterbacks, you don't know if they're going to plan out right away. You might get rid of Sam Darnold, and then all of a sudden, poof, that quarterback comes in, and he's horrible. Or he's just, not ready. So I think Sam Darnold looking for a 3-4 year extension, maybe a little more than that, like 5. It's gonna be very tricky what the Vikings are gonna do. They're in a good spot though. They have good defense. They didn't do so well, but they have a good defense. Their offense with Justin Jefferson, Addison, a good tight end. O-line solid, even though they kind of messed up this game. They're in a good spot. They just gotta see the quarterback is the big thing they gotta focus on. I'm not sure what they should do, but like I said, they should keep Darnold for 3 or 4 years and see if maybe the other quarterback can develop behind him. You don't want to rush anything. But yeah, guys, that is the games that happened in the playoffs. Now we're going to look at the next round. Let's see what we got. We got the Texans versus Chiefs. I don't know. I'm going to say Texans. I do not want to say Chiefs. Chiefs, no. I'm choosing the Texans because I'm tired of the Taylor Swift, Travis Kelce thing. and I want to see the Texans win. So I'm choosing Texans. Commanders versus Lions. I'm going to give this an edge a little bit over the Lions. Really good offense. Really pretty impressive defense. Might get some of their players back. Who knows? Commanders are going to put a dogfight, but Lions are going to win at the end. Rams versus Eagles. Rams was very impressive last week versus Minnesota, but I think the Eagles are going to win versus the Rams. A pretty decent game, but we'll see. Ravens versus Bills. This one will be a really good game. I'm going to watch this one for sure. I'm going to give this to the... I feel like the Bills are going to win somehow, some way. But I'm going to give it to the Ravens. But back in my mind, I think the Bills are going to win. But Ravens up here, Bills back here. So I'm going to choose the Ravens, so to win this game. Ooh, very, very exciting game coming up, man. I'm pretty hyped about it. What else? What else in the NFL? A couple of college players are going into the NFL draft and declared it. Some backed out, staying for 1 more year, 2 more years. So it looks like a lot of stuff going on outside of the NFL. I'm not sure. I'm not really a big college football guy, so I can't really give, what I think about each college player of where they're going to go in the NFL draft. But maybe later on down the road when I get used to college football more and get back into it, then I'll give you my opinions on it and my thoughts on it. What else? Wide receiver Deontay Johnson. He has been released again. At first, I'm like, all right, maybe it's the team. Maybe it's the team that's the issue, not him. No, it's him. You got let go by the Panthers. Steelers let you go. Texans let you go. Bro, you're getting mad because you haven't gotten the ball or haven't got any playing time. Dude, stop. It's not all about you. It's about, you performing well on the field. Plus, your injuries played a huge role, too. Grow up. You should have been grown up. Come on, man. You get paid millions of dollars to play a game that you love. And you're having hissy fits. You're not getting any playing time and stuff. Be professional. There are players who take them a couple of years to get playing time. They get cut multiple times, and they don't have a hissy fit. Come on. What else? No, not that much stuff going on in the NFL besides the playoffs. There's a couple of players debating about retiring, but I'm not going to really go over that. Coaches, too. Some players' opinions on how their team should have done or next year is going to happen. Oh, coaching-wise. Ooh, we got to talk about this. We have a lot of coaches got let go, and you guys know a lot of coaches. But there's some coaches who, got hired and so on. So let's talk about the New England Patriots. They just signed Mike Vrabel as their new head coach for the team. So some of you guys thinking, wait, what happened to O.J. Mayo? I think it's O.J. Mayo. Wait, is it O.J. Mayo? I think that's his name. But what happened to Mayo, though? He was their head coach. Why did they let him go? Well, the reason why they let him go is because something about his chemistry with the team wasn't the greatest. I think he didn't have that head coaching ability in the NFL, and I think the owners didn't really like how he was running the team, so they ended up moving on from him. I don't know. There's a lot of sources that saying different things, and they moved on. And then, as you know, Mike Vrabel was popping up in a lot of teams' names. The Jets interviewed him. The Cowboys are maybe going to interview him if they let go Mike McCarthy, which we'll talk about the Cowboys soon. But the New England Patriots signed through the next head coach, I'm not sure how many years. And I'd say this is a good move for New England. Mike Vrabel won Super Bowls with New England. He really has that, hey, I'm not trying to play any games here. You need to step up and do your job right now type of attitude, which is awesome. You need that type of coach. He relates to players. I know Mayo, former coach, yeah, he was a players type of guy, but not as, Mike type of personality and how he was. He's more of a leader compared to the other coach. But I think this is a good move for New England. They have top picks in the draft this year and picks in the future, over $130 million in cap space. And they have a good rookie quarterback, did awesome towards the end of the season. Well, the whole season, I would say. And I think they're in a really good spot. As a New York football, as a football fan, this is good for New England. Happy for them, yes. As a New York Jets fan, New York football fan, no. I don't like this. We're trying to get New England out. Like, stop. No, but, hey, football, we just gotta do better as New York Jets fans, New York football organizations, we want to call it Giants too. But, yes, New England got their new head coach. As for the Cowboys, they released Mike McCarthy as their head coach. A little bit shocking from a lot of people. Well, I'll say a lot of shock. Everyone's shocked because they thought he was going to be their head coach for a couple of years. But it sounded like contract was a big thing for Mike McCarthy and the Cowboys. I think Jerry Jones didn't want to extend him 4 or 5 years. And he wanted to be there a little longer. And I think Jerry wanted him to be there for another year or two. And he didn't want that. So I ended up parting ways. So yeah, it's just a lot of stuff going on with coaches. It sounds like Mike McCarthy and Aaron Glenn are the two top candidates to be coaches in the NFL right now for a lot of teams. Titans, Jets, Chicago, New Orleans, a lot of good teams really want these two head coaches. Ben Johnson too. Ben Johnson may even go to the Raiders. For the Raiders might be a good destination for some of these coaches. Who knows? But I think the two coaches, Aaron Glenn and Mike McCarthy, are two highly thought out coaches that the Titans and the Jets really want. The reason why is that, not the Titans and Jets, my bad. The Jets and Saints really want. The reason why is that Mike McCarthy was a head coach. Well, my mistake. The Saints want Mike McCarthy and Aaron Glenn, but the Jets want Aaron Glenn and I don't know whoever else. The reason why the Saints want Mike McCarthy and Aaron Glenn is that Mike McCarthy was a head coach for the team. Well, not head coach. He was one of the coordinators for the team back in the early 2000s. And then Aaron Glenn was a former player for that team, so some connection here and there. As for Aaron Glenn for the Jets, former player, got drafted. Bill Parcells still talks to him, was his coach. But back to my New York Jets, though. I keep saying New York a lot, Jets. There's something else. They're very confusing. They're interviewing everyone under the sun. 30 different head coaches, 30 different GMs. It's too much. Get your guy ready, bro. I don't know. I'm not going to go into more detail. I'd be seeing it too much on social media. Too much. But, yeah, I think that's it for the NFL. Yeah. Now, we're going to talk about this two stuff that's going to be happening. Well, that has happened. And it is the LA Wildfire. So the LA Wildfire let's talk about that, and then we'll talk about some other stuff here and there. Now, as you guys know, the LA wildfire happened, I think almost a week ago, we would say, or a few days ago, and it didn't sit well with me. It didn't sit well with me. At first, I'm like, oh man, what happened? Stuff happens. And I look into it, I'm like, it seems too sketchy. Too sketchy, because even everyone's trying to connect the dots, and they were saying the same thing. They're like, wait, this is really what happened? So, I think it was about a week before the fire happened, there were people who test out, where the fire was going to happen, because usually it happens every year. Every year it happens either in the spring, I think, or in the summer, usually when it happens, but it was happening, at this moment. And this person that was in charge of it was like, hey, the fire's to the left, but it's going to go towards the right. Be prepared, we want to be prepared just in case something comes towards the other direction. That's where everyone was living. People got the money, the bread, the millionaires. So he was telling, I'm not sure which governor it was, the guy or the girl, I'm not sure who was in charge of what. They were telling like, hey, be ready. The girl, she left, she knew about this. She left, I think, the week before to go to Ghana. It was just vacation. To Ghana. While she was in Ghana, the fire happened. She came back, I think, like 2 days after. Everyone was questioning her. Hey, what do you want to say to the people that were affected by this, and why this wasn't working, or why that? And they were asking like a lot of good questions to her. She wasn't answering it at all. She was silent like this. Literally, like silent. And then she was staring at the window. I'm like, dude, just say, I'm sorry, but right now it's not the proper time for me to answer the questions. I'll update you guys later on, whatever. But you not saying nothing is so sketchy and so unprofessional. Like, why? Like, why would you do that? And then on top of that, the guy, I think he's like, I don't know who he is. I think it's LA, or he's the governor of California. I think that's who he is. I don't know who the guy is. But he was just like smiling, like standing there. And I'm like, bro, what? And it doesn't make any sense, because they knew about this. There was no water in the hydro, in the hydrant. None. The firemen were trying to do their job. They were trying to turn on the water. Nothing was coming out. No pressure, no water, nothing. Then you got people lighting stuff up from the woods. Like, a bunch of people were arrested for lighting some of the fires up. And then on top of that, State Farm canceled their home insurance a few months prior. I think it was like a month or a few months prior, to all those homes that were affected, over 100,000 homes, I think it was. So you connect the dots. You know something was up, bro. You know something was up. And they were trying to, what I also looked up is that I think they're trying to get rid of all those homes so that the people can, build it back up. And what the government, well, not the government, but what the state would do, and I think they would put something there. I'm not sure it would be a bunch of housing or something like that. I'm not sure. But they would put something there and just make money off it, I guess. This is what I saw, is what I think. Might be wrong. You guys can tell me what you think about this. If I'm correct, if I'm wrong, if you have your own opinion, your own thought about this, I'm all open, I'm all ears. I want to hear more information about this, but this is what I looked up. But, it's messed up. I mean, yes, I know a lot of these people are millionaires. They can get a house easily, but they're still human beings. I'll say, though, they are being a little bit dramatic. with their homes, like, you're alive, you're healthy, you're well, chill out, you know. But if someone passed away in a fire, rest in peace to them. Uh, you know, you gotta be respectful about that. But yeah, I mean, everyone's human. Um, everyone's human. I feel like it's messed up, even if you're a millionaire or not. It just doesn't sit well with. And what's even more sketchy, why I'm kind of like, I feel bad, but I kind of don't. It's because, and the guy saw the Golden Globe, I think it was. They were making fun of, I think, like each category or something like that. Well, they weren't making fun of each category. I think it was mainly the God part. So they're saying wife, kid, and then God. And then they end up just like laughing about the God part. So I think maybe that was like karma to the millionaires who were there, that were celebrities at that event. It's kind of a little, oof, you know. It's very interesting how what's going on over there in LA. Very interesting. Wow. It's I can talk about this for hours. I can give you my thoughts on every little bit and dot, but it's gonna take you too long for me to, talk about it. But I just want to give you my short, somewhat long thought about it. We're gonna see what's gonna happen next. We're not sure. Donald Trump. Oh wait, I also gotta talk about what Trump said in the past too. He when he was president, he came over there. I think 2019 was something like that happened, but not as big. And he told him, he was like, hey, like, you need to clean everything up. You need to fix everything. You need to, put water here, whatever there. And he literally said that. And then recently, he even said what he said in 2019. He's like, hey, I told him back in 2019, like, get your act together. Do this, do that, do this. And he didn't do it. And he said what's even silly is that the reason why they took that water out of the hydrants is because they want to save some pointless fish that they didn't even work. Nothing worked. So he knows for a fact that there's going to be some changes going on there, and I think that governor is really not going to have a job after that. Wow. You thought the mafia was, corrupt? No. They're nothing compared to the government. Oof. Crazy. Crazy, bro. Next up, let's talk about the New York City congestion prices. Said it right. So New York City, as you guys know, the 5 boroughs, you have Staten Island, Brooklyn, Queens, where I'm from, and Manhattan and the Bronx. So you have the 5 boroughs, and they, for many years, when you go through the 5 boroughs, they never charge you. They never charge you. While as a kid, you go from the Queensboro Bridge into Manhattan, no charge. You drive in, you only gotta pay some parking meters and parking garages, and that's it. Now, I don't know this lady name. I think she's the governor of New York City now, or the state. I don't know what her name is, but she ended up putting this into the city. It will cost up to $27 to drive into Manhattan. So from 60th Street downwards, you need to pay. Yeah, pay. Right here I have a picture, and it says that from it's purple, the purple one, and there's a red one. Purple one is Easy Pass, which is like when you go through the city, the Easy Pass, little tiny, like let me say, something like this, like the size of this. You put it on your car and you go through it. So you put that up there, and you just scan it and you pay it, and it takes out your account every month or so on, every time you go through it. So that's the cheaper one, but if you don't have it, it's more expensive. So if you go to Lincoln Tunnel, it's $22.06 for with the Easy Pass. Without, $27.31. The Holland Tunnel, $22.06. Without it, $27.31. The High Carry Tunnel, I've never been through that tunnel. Is that new? I must have been living in New York mostly my whole life, and I've never even heard of that. But $12.94 for Easy Pass without, $20.19. Birds on a Bridge, $15.94 with it. Without it, $20.19. Brooklyn Bridge, $9 with it. Without, $13.50. Manhattan Bridge, $9 with it. $13.50 without. Williamsburg Bridge, $9 with it. $13.50 without it. Queens Midtown Tunnel, $12.94 with it. $20.19 without. And Ed Koch, my bad, well, I should say, Queensboro Bridge, $9 with it. $13.50 without it. Yeah. The reason why they're doing this is that they want to have the city less congested. It's been over 150 years, maybe even longer than that New York City has always been congested. Has always been. And you're charging people this. Why? Because you're losing money from the MTA? You are? What are you doing with that money? You're not doing nothing with it. I literally took subways mostly my whole life. The only time I didn't take the subway was when I lived in Florida for about 6 to 8 years. When I went to college from 2015 to 2022 or 2023. That's the only time I didn't take the subway because I was living in a whole different state. But I never, ever, ever see the MTA spend the money where it should be spent. Never. There's so many areas in the city that they could spend on the subway system. Better subway carts. Better, you can even make some different routes. You can put it down the tunnel. It's easy. You put it, you just dug it, you just do it. You have billions and trillions of dollars you can do to improve the city. You can add air conditioning in the subway cars. Even the subway platform, we'll be sweating our balls off when we're down there during the summertime. It's just so much money you can put into it. And what's even funny, well, not really funny, but what's even crazy is that people were getting pushed onto the track. I think it was last year, sometime last year, and they ended up putting those fake line rails, those mini rails that you go to the water park or something and you're waiting online, those mini ones, and it's so far apart the next one that someone can still push you over into the track. It doesn't make any sense. So and they don't even have it everywhere. They have it in specific spots in the city. They don't have it in Lexington Avenue. They don't have it in Queens. They don't have it in the Bronx. They only have it in Manhattan mainly. Those little rails. And I can picture it cost them a few $1,000s to put that in. That's nothing. It just gets me very angry because as a native New Yorker, I love the city. Why would I not come back up here? If I didn't like New York City, I would not come back up here. No. But I just love New York. Even when I was a kid, I love New York. I lived some of my life in Long Island. I lived some of my life in Queens. And visiting families a lot. I just loved New York. I just loved the atmosphere. I love being in New York. I love going to games. I love the food. It's home. I feel comfortable here. And I just hate the fact that they're just mistreating the city like it's garbage. Like, it would never, like when I was a kid, I would watch the news with my grandmother, and I would see certain stuff. I would see some stuff. My grandma was into the news for the city. Like, she was very, very into it. And I never saw stuff like this. Like, you had this, you had the migrants doing all this, you got them getting money from this. People were getting attacked on the subways, on the platforms. Like, what world are we living in? And it's like I don't get the fact that people don't stand up for themselves like we used to in the past. I get it. The laws are way different now. Even when you do stand up for yourself, it's like you're the one getting put to jail even though you're doing the right thing. Like, even with that girl who got lit up, she should have watched her surroundings, which I'll say that, but doesn't make any excuse. Nobody should be lighting no one else on fire. And that was just messed up, bro. And it's just and the guy who was it was illegal. And we don't know what's going on with him. It sounds like he's gonna be going to jail for good or getting put back to his country. Who knows? But this city is just, it's not what it was. Trust me, if I was the president, the governor of New York, state of New York City, I would do stuff. But I'm not into politics. It's too corrupt. Too much stress. It just gets me very angry, bro. Like, people just do the right thing. That's all that matters. Like, it's not hard to do the right thing. It really isn't. The only time you don't do the right thing is like if you try to do something to help someone in a good way. In a really good way, you gotta be a little bit like corrupt a little bit. That's fine. Doing the right thing. But don't do corrupt doing a bad thing. Or doing, not caring about New Yorkers. Like, you gotta just, trust me, if all the New Yorkers that used to live in New York City were living here right now, they're all going to be up in roar about this. I know that for a fact. Because I still talk to some, even my mom was mad about this. She doesn't live here anymore. She doesn't really like here anymore, but she loves New York too. And it's like, it's messed up, bro. It really is. Yeah, man, it's just, us as a society, we need to do better. We need to do better. We need to. It's not right how the world is. Even grown people, they're in their 50s, 60s, 40s, 70s, acting like kids, acting like immature. They should be we should be looking up to them, and yo, I want to be like you, man, like you for real, like doing good things and this and that. No. What you're doing is affecting the younger generation and making us gonna turn like you. Like, you really got the younger generation, look how they're acting right now. Totally, oof. That's a different story. Like, actually, I'll get into it right now. We have some time. But, don't get me wrong. The younger generation, I like how outspoken they are. I like how creative they are. I like the fact that their mindset's different. But, on the other hand, they're very precious with what they get into. They can get drawn very easily with social media. When I was younger, social media wasn't that big. Like, I'm 28 now. But when I was younger, social media wasn't like how it is now. No. We had Facebook. but nobody really went on it. Played games on it, but nobody really posted on Facebook. MySpace, YouTube wasn't really a thing. So I wasn't as, drawn into social media. I didn't, my parents taught me from right to wrong. I'll see from the outside world what's right from wrong. And yeah, it was simple. Now it's like kids are get very attached to social media fast. They want to be the person that everyone looks up to, or they want to do this, or they want to do that. And it's really not good. Like in New York City, I see these kids. They go on the top of the subway cart, riding on it. Some of them pass away because of it. Then you have this, other stuff like fights and all. And in the past there was like fights, but not to this extent. Like it just gotta. And I'm not blaming the kids for, oh, it's your fault, you need to know better. No, I'm not blaming them. I would take some responsibility, but the parents need to step up tremendously, 10 times more. Like my parents, they taught me, but it was a time when it wasn't as, with social media and stuff. So they did teach me at the table this and that, but it wasn't at the point that we had to do it every single day. Now you gotta do it every single day. You gotta talk to your kid every single day. Tell them, no, don't go in the subway cart. Oh no, don't, ruin someone else's life with something small. Or don't do this. And the parents need to take responsibility and teach the kids better. But what I know, some of you guys would be like, you don't have a kid, this and that, yada yada, it's none of your business. Hey, alright. But I'm just letting you. Like, I'm just trying to help everyone else out. Just telling them, hey, do the right thing. It's going to make your life much easier, make your kids' life much easier, your family's life much easier. If you just do the right thing, teach what's right from wrong, and be on top of it 10 times more than everyone else. And yeah, guys, that is the 20 minutes of that part. I can go on and on and on about this type of stuff. I'm very into trying to help the youth, want to help people, because I've been through stuff, my family's been through stuff, and I want nobody else to go through stuff too. And I just want to add that extra kindness in the world to make the world a better place. It's a little lifestyle topic we talked about. I could have gone on and on about the stuff we talked about for lifestyle, but it's pretty quick. I usually go on with my family, but I'll repeat it a lot. But yeah, guys, that's it. NFL, NBA, talked about a little bit of that. MLB, nothing. Then we got the whole thing with what's going on in the world. And guys, thanks always for liking, viewing the video, and also subscribing to the channel. We're almost at 50 subscribers. And